North of 10 years after the occasions of the primary film, the film starts with Jake Soyle portraying his humble and quiet life as head of the Omaticaya tribe and raising a family with his significant other Neytiri, which incorporates his children Netayam and Loic and his little girl Tuck, his embraced little girl Kiri, brought into the world from Elegance Augustine's out-cold Navi symbol, and a human kid named Bug, the child of Miles Quaritch, who was brought into the world on Pandora, however couldn't be shipped to in cryostasis as baby. While Jake can acknowledge Bug as a took-on child, Neytiri is doubtful of him given his human starting points. Notwithstanding, every one of the kids blend and mingle well with one another, including Insect, whom Kiri is tender with despite the fact that he is a human. Insect doesn't embrace his human legacy and feels more leaned to Navi culture and customs. They have a typical existence until one day they notice an unusual star in the night sky. Unfortunately, they understand it's a RDA space transport with people getting back to Pandora to colonize it, raising another vitally working base once more, making critical obliteration Pandora. Among the fresh debuts in the boat is Colonel Quaritch, who has been cloned into a Navi body and with his recollections transferred from before his passing. Subsequently, Quaritch can't recall his downfall because of Jake, however is simply ready to remember the occasions before and his vindictive mission to kill Jake. To keep the RDA from taking advantage of Pandora once more, Jake drives an essential guerrilla activity against the RDA supply lines, debilitating them. In one of the tasks, Loic, who defies Netayam and is anxious to show what him can do as a Navi fighter, attempts to help Jake in fight, however is injured. Jake saves and trains him to not jeopardize his own security by being crazy. That evening, while at the same time watching out for his injuries, Nethri serenely reminds Jake to be not excessively unforgiving with Loic, to which Jake communicates his anxiety as a dad for the security of his youngsters. In the meantime, the retaliatory strike on the RDA supply lines doesn't agree with Quaritch, who starts a hunt mission to kill Jake. During a lively endeavor, Jake's kids alongside Bug investigate further into the rainforest. Unbeknownst to them, Quaritch and his group are in the area investigating the site where Quaritch finds his human remaining parts. A perceptive Loic sees their presence and rapidly illuminates Jake. A conflict follows and Quaritch's crew catches Jake's youngsters. Jake and Neytiri show up in time and free the vast majority of them, yet Bug is taken by Quaritch, who remembers him as his child. On board the boat, the RDA attempts to constrain data about Jake from Bug, whom declines. Evolving procedure, Quaritch tends to Bug as his child and furthermore to make sense of more about the Navi in return for his opportunity on his side. In spite of the fact that unagreeable and ignorant about Quaritch's genuine mission, Bug shows Quaritch Navi culture. Quaritch is likewise effectively ready to tame an Ikran flying animal as his vehicle. Realizing the peril, Insect's information on his whereabouts stances to their security and furthermore to keep away from another disaster, Jake persuades a hesitant Nethri and his family to exile themselves from the Omaticaya group and retreat toward the eastern seaboard of Metkaina, a coral reef island whose tribe and way of life is adjusted to Pandora's oceanic natural surroundings. Jake gives his main mantle to his replacement and passes on altogether to Metkaina. Once showed up, they are welcomed by the group boss Tonawari and his significant other Ronald, who is far-fetched of them at first. Notwithstanding, Jake makes sense of their circumstance and they are consented to remain and given cover. Despite the fact that a few tribesmen criticize Jake and his kids for their hereditary human legacy, the family learns the methods of the reef individuals, gaining the appreciation of them. Kiri is interested with the oceanic existence of Metkaina and fosters an otherworldly bond with the ocean and its animals, while Loic gets to know Soraya, the little girl of tribe boss Tonawari and his better half Ronald. While adjusting to their new climate, Loic gets into a battle with Soraya's sibling Aoning when he pokes an unrefined fun at Kiri and him of their blended human genealogy. Jake rebukes his child for his way of behaving. At Jake's demand, Loic gets back to apologize to Aoning and his companions. Nonetheless, they tempt him to an outing into the domain of a hazardous ocean hunter, the Akula, and leave him abandoned in retribution. The Akula attempts to go after Loic. Notwithstanding, Loic is saved by and becomes friends with Pyakon, a tulkun, a keen and pacifistic cetacean species whom the Metkaina think about their otherworldly family. Loic can speak with Pyakon through marking and eliminates an old spearhead from the monster's right blade. Upon his revisitation of Metkaina, boss Tonawari, who became mindful of Aonung's deceiving of Loic, requests that the previous apologize to Loic. In any case, Loic assumes the fault himself, winning Aonung's kinship. He is likewise informed that Pyakon is an outsider among his species. In the interim, out traveling to a branch off of the Tree of Spirits, Kiri joins with it to meet her mom, however experiences a vicious seizure. She is recuperated by Ronald, yet when Jake calls Norm Spellman and Max Patel for help, Korich can follow them to the archipelago where the reef individuals reside. Carrying Insect with him, he secured a whaling vessel which is hunting Tulkans to reap their mind proteins for making hostile to maturing cures. Korich starts to fiercely scrutinize the native clans about Jake's area. Bombing that, he arranges the whaling team to wantonly kill the Tulkans to draw Jake out. Loic intellectually connects with Pyakon and discovers that the Tulkun was projected out on the grounds that he conflicted with the methods of his species and went after the whalers who killed his mom. At the point when the Metkaina learn of the Tulkun butchers, Loic takes off to caution Pyakon, trailed by his kin, Soraya and Aoning. They find Pyakon being pursued by the whalers, and Loic, Kiri and Tuck are caught by Korich. With their kids in harm's way, Jake, Neytiri and the Metkaina set off to face the people. Korich powers Jake to give up. Yet seeing his spirit sibling jeopardized, Pyakon assaults the whalers, setting off a battle which kills a large portion of the group and basically harms the vessel, making it sink. Netayam salvages Loic and Bug, yet is lethally shot. Jake faces Korich, who involves Kiri as a prisoner. At the point when Neytiri does likewise with Insect, Korich at first denies his child, however halts when Neytiri cuts Bug on the chest. Jake, Korich, Neytiri and Tuck end up caught inside the sinking vessel. Jake chokes Korich into obviousness and is safeguarded by Loic and Pyakon, and Kiri calls ocean animals to help her save Neytiri and Tuck. Bug finds and safeguards Korich, yet passes on him because of his brutality towards the Na'vi and putting his objective to kill Jake's family over being his dad and turning into a decent man, driving him back to rejoin Jake's loved ones. After Netayam's memorial service, Jake and his family choose to for all time stay with the Metkaina.